Hello, welcome to the CIPRÉS table. So this is a coffee you should be kind of familiar with by now because for those of you who have a Fedco, so maybe not you, Linda, but for everybody else, you guys should know a little bit about what CIPRÉS tastes like. So I'm here to tell you a little bit more about where it comes from. So CIPRÉS is the name of a farm owned by a guy named Osvaldo Gonzalez. And this farm, it's up at 1,685 meters above sea level, so got a decent bit of elevation. And Osvaldo, he grows cultura on his farm, and then he takes his harvest, and he does all of his milling at a place called Helsar de Zarcero. This place you might be familiar with not only because of CIPRÉS, but if you've ever seen a coffee of ours called Los Enonos, or from years past, Santa Lucia, those coffees are all processed at the same place, Helsar de Zarcero. So CIPRÉS, it is a Villalobos coffee, is the variety, and he processes this coffee down to a white honey. So what that means is after Osvaldo collects the cherry off of his farm, he then takes it to Helsar, where they have the equipment to take the skin off of the bean, leaving very, very, very little mucilage behind. So first, the depulper is what takes off the skin. Then it goes through another machine that we call a demucilager, desmucilador. Although I've been here in Brazil too long, that was more Portuguese than Spanish. But anyway, after it goes through that desmucilador, it gets most of its fruit taken off, and you're left with a pretty clean bean. And so what does that mean? Think about some of the things that you taste. When you have coffee with very little mucilage left on it to dry, you end up with a coffee that tastes very, very similar to a washed coffee. Very clean, nice and bright, maybe and complex. This is my own thing. I sometimes think fully washed coffees, the fermentation brings about really nice complexity in coffee that white honeys may or may not be lacking. But for its own style, it's really neat. It makes very clean flavors, very sweet flavors, and for CIPRÉS, it's been a coffee that we've liked for years now. So, what else can I say about this? The farm, where's Helsar? It's located in the West Valley. And the West Valley is a region just a little bit north and to the west, well, your west. Here, a few varieties are grown. There's cultura, Catuai, and Villalobos. As I mentioned, this one is just the Villalobos. And overall, I mean, it's just a solid coffee. The things that you should remember. The guy who grows CIPRÉS, his name is Osvaldo Gonzalez. The place where CIPRÉS is grown is the West Valley. The process, it's a white honey. And what that means is that the skin of the fruit is taken off and most of the fruit is taken off. Like 90% up of the fruit is taken off. It might still feel just a little slimy, but it's pretty much clean parchment on green coffee at that point. The coffee is dried on raised beds very nicely, and the resulting cup, you guys can speak to that as well as I can, especially me being down here trying to remember Costa Rican coffee while drinking Brazil. But it's clean, it's bright. CIPRÉS always has like a really interesting sort of berry character to it, to my palate, that a lot of other coffees don't. Very, very sweet. So I hope you guys like this coffee, and yeah, enjoy.